What's up, guys? It's the Burger Flipper Department of War here to remind you that I did nothing wrong. Burger Flipper Department of War here to remind you that it's already over for me. Burger Flipper Department of War here to remind you that it's already over for me. It's already over. We're already going nowhere fast here. It's already over for me. We're already going nowhere fast. And that's the bottom line. Like, I spend the day looking forward to nothing. I was born in a country that has no interest in the well-being or future of the people that live here. I was born in a country that has no, how do I put this? I live in a country that is not homogenous. I live in a non-homogenous country that has no interest in the well-being or future of the people born here. And I know this because why else would I be born, or why else would the country I was born in start pointless wars before, during, and after I was born that have taken place throughout the entire duration of my life? I was born in the midst of pointless military action by my government. I am now 10 years into dead-end jobs because of the lackluster work of my elected officials and military and government. Fact of the matter is that I should not be this poor. I am the grandson of a person who was one of the first, like literally a part of the first special forces the U.S. military ever called special forces, okay, in Bavaria. And he came to this part of Florida, settled in this part of Florida, and then my mom was born, and then my mom grew up in this exact same part of Florida and had me. For what, I ask, did my father ever contribute, or I ask why my grandfather ever participated in the first U.S. military to ever be called Special Forces, only for me to live in the exact same part of Florida that he raised kids in and to be treated like this. I just want to know. And I feel sorry for everyone who works for the United States government. Everyone that's ever been in the military, anyone that's ever put time in working for this government just to raise children, if you have children, if you're lucky enough to have children, just to raise children in a country that has no interest in the future of your children, because that's what this is. And everyone that thinks they're getting one over on my demographic, I just want you to know, I mean, not only, in my opinion, is this country's days numbered, I think as soon as our currency goes, I think as soon as the United States currency finally gives out, this country's going with it. I think the only reason the United States still exists is because of its banks and its currency. And I think as soon as our currency goes, the entire country goes with it. And I think our currency's days are numbered, and that means our country's days are numbered. But on top of that, I feel sorry for every demographic that thinks they're getting one over on my demographic, because this country doesn't care about your family's future. This country doesn't care about your demographic's future, your family's future, and that's just a simple fact. Because if they did, I wouldn't be in the spot that I'm in, and that's just reality. Anyone denying this is denying a basic fact about this country. You could move a boulder, like you could move a boulder up a mountain for this country, and this country would not treat your offspring with any respect. You could, there's no amount of service that you can do for this country that would make this country respect you, even let alone your family. There's like absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing that you could do culturally, business-wise. It does not matter. There's nothing that you could do for this country, let alone the world. There's nothing you could do for this country that would make the citizens of this country have any modicum of respect for you, let alone your family. Nothing is sacred in this country. Nothing is of value to the people of this country. The people that think that they have history in this country do not have enough sense to show respect to people that have done things for this country, let alone their family. So I'm sure you're wondering what I meant. You might be wondering what I meant by what I just said. Well, if you can't figure that out, you're probably not very bright. No offense to you. No offense to you. But if you couldn't, if what I just said to you didn't spur thought in your mind other than thought that is critical of me, you're not very bright. And I don't know how to tell you that other than telling you that you're just not very bright. So again, what did I mean by what I just said? Again, to reiterate, if I have to explain it to you, you're probably not very bright, but I'll explain it to you anyway. Even though it'll probably be lost on you because you're not very bright, if you need me to elaborate further about what I meant by what I just said. What I meant by what I just said is that I'm related to many people that have done many things for this country, and and historic things for this country, things that should be in the history books, okay? My family has done things that are so undeniable that there's land that my family has lived on that is a living history museum, okay? So my family has done things for this country, and not only am I living in squalor, I have been so disrespected that So my family's undeniably done things for this country. It's not up for debate. It's not up for debate or discussion whether or not my family's done things for this country, because my family has land that is a living history museum that people go and visit, that you can Google, and pictures of it come up on Google. Pictures of family, or pictures of land that my family lived on, is not only a living history museum, deemed a living history museum by the government. Like, you can pull pictures of land that my family has lived on up on Google, and pictures of people that I'm related to will come up of them living on that land. Some of the earliest photography ever. So, like, there's not a doubt as to whether or not my family's done things for this country. And even when, I don't know how to put this, this country does not show respect to anything. Nothing is sacred in this country. This country doesn't respect its own people. And if you think that your family is going to fare better, I have unfortunate news for you. If all of you people who are coming here thinking you're getting one over on us, I'm telling you that nothing is sacred here. There's nothing you can do, even if you were trying to do something positive for this country. Because I know all of you coming here defrauding the government, like you're not even trying to do anything positive. You're not even trying to do anything positive for this country. But I'm telling you, even if you did a lot of positive things for generations in this country, they're gonna use your tax money to start pointless wars that are gonna make the economy worse, and that's gonna make your offspring's life worse, so you don't get anything. All of you people that came here to defraud the US government and think that you're going to live easy off of the US government, I got terrible news for you. I have terrible news for you. Welcome to living in the United States during the endless cycle of the United States starting pointless wars that are going to do nothing but make things. So like all of you people that came here to defraud the US government, realize that your income isn't going up. I guarantee you your income isn't going up, but your expenses are. And the amount they're taxing you is, and even if so all of you people who thought you were living on easy street, you thought you were living on easy street because you came here to defraud the US government, like I've been telling you for 10 years, congratulations, you played yourself, because now things aren't getting better for you economically, but you're living here. Things aren't getting better for you economically, but you're living here. But picture how that's going to go for you. Picture how that's going to go for your offspring. Picture how that's going to go for your offspring. So you thought you were getting one over by coming here and contributing to things being terrible for me economically. You thought you were getting one over on me. All right, you thought you were going to come here and live easy at my expense and my misfortune. But congratulations, now you're living the reality that I've been telling you people on the internet for decades. Now you're living the unfortunate reality of living in the United States, because things aren't going to get better economically for your children. I promise you that. I promise you things aren't going to get better economically for your children. Okay? There's no amount of... So number one, your children have nowhere they can go. So all of you people who thought that you were getting one over on me by coming here and defrauding the government, your children have nowhere to go where things are going to be better for them. Okay? So there's nowhere for your children to go, and things aren't getting economically better for your children. So congratulations, you had a couple good years of living off of defrauding the government, and now your children have nowhere to go. There's nowhere for your children to escape to, and now they have to live with the unfortunate reality of things aren't getting economically better in America. So you came here for a minute improvement for yourself that wasn't actually an improvement, and congratulations, now your children have nowhere to go and things aren't getting better economically for them here. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Where are you going to go now? No, seriously, where are you going to go now? Like, where are you going to go now? All of you people who came here to defraud the government and live at my misfortune, live off of my misfortune and at my expense, I just want to know, now that you're here, where are your children going to go? Because your children are going to be as exposed to the unfortunate circumstances of being born in the United States as me. Your children aren't going to be able to defraud the government the same way you did. Your children, I just want to know. I just want to know. So all of you people who came here to live off of defrauding the government, congratulations, now you're here, but there's nowhere for your children to go, and your children are going to have it just as bad as me if they were born in the U.S., because they're not going to be able to defraud the government the same way you did. So I just want to know where your children are going to go, because they're going to end up like me. Your children are going to end up like me, and the social credit police of the United States are going to be milking them for all they're worth and capping their earning potential with their United States social credit system bullshit that the police are now. The police are just an apparatus of the United States social credit system at this point. Now that we're enlightened by the release of the Epstein files. Now that we're enlightened by the release of the Epstein files, it is no longer me speculating when I say that we live under a social credit system, and the United States police are nothing more than an apparatus of the United States social credit system, and I know this because they made me a patsy for an actual criminal. They made me a patsy for an actual criminal that was committing actual crimes, and they charged me with the crimes that an actual criminal committed, and then all of you ignorant buffoons on the internet ran around going, "Ooh, look at me! Ooh, look at me! I have Francis's criminal record! Ooh, look at me! Look at me! I have the franman's criminal record! Ooh, look at me! Ooh, look at me!" So again, you're all a bunch of buffoons. The United States police are nothing more than an apparatus of the United States social credit system, and I just want to know where all of you people who moved here to live at my expense off of defrauding the U.S. government, I just want to know where your children are going to go, because your children aren't going to be able to defraud the government the way you did, because your children were most likely born here, and or they're not going to be treated as someone who just arrived here. They're not going to be some like H-1B visa recipient. So like, if not them, then your grandchildren. I just want to know where your grandchildren or your children are going to go, because they're not going to be able to defraud the government the way you did, and they're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I've been subjected to as someone born in the United States and whose family has lived here for generations. So I just want to know what you guys are going to do a generation or two from, because you're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I've been subjected to as someone born here. So it would almost be in your own interest. It would almost be in your own interest if you weren't fucking buffoons. It would almost be in your own interest to fix this place. But you're not smart enough for that. You're not smart enough for that, and you don't have what's called foresight. You don't have the foresight to realize that you're not pulling one over on me. You're fucking yourself over. You're giving yourself borrowed time, but the same problems that I've been forced to deal with, are the problems that your children or grandchildren are going to have to deal with, and they're not going to have the H-1B visa fucking Uno wild card that's going to allow them unlimited defrauding the government privileges. So I just want to know what you guys are going to do, like what your children or your grandchildren are going to do, because they're not going to be able to defraud the government for their entire life for a free apartment. So I just want to know. I just want to know when the free apartment money dries up a generation or two from now, what you guys are going to do in your infinite wisdom. It would almost be in your own interest to fix this bullshit now while you have the unlimited defrauding the government privilege. It would almost be in your own interest to fix this shit now for your children or your grandchildren's sake, but that's the foresight that you fucking buffoons don't have. So instead of listening to me telling you now that your children or your grandchildren are going to have to deal with the exact same bullshit that I'm dealing with now, so it'd be in your own interest to fix this bullshit now, you're just going to try to coast off of the defrauding the government privilege, and that's going to dry up within like a generation or two, and you're going to be fucked, and you're going to be forced to live through the same bullshit that I'm living through now that you're ignoring and not fixing. So you guys aren't smart enough for that, though. You're not smart enough for that one. That one slipped right past you. That one slipped right past you. That one got under your nose, and you missed that one. You let that one get right past you. You let that one sneak right past you. The part where it doesn't matter that you think you're getting one over on me now. Your children and your grandchildren are going to be treated as regular, ordinary United States citizens. Hate to tell you that. I hate to tell you that. See, like, you know how Puerto Ricans act like they're more ignored? Like how Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico act like they're more ignored by the government than U.S. citizens? That is not true at all. That is so not true at all. The United States ignores all United States citizens and their interests. So, like, you're not getting one over. You're not getting one over on the United States by moving here, in exchange for like a generation of defrauding the U.S. government. I don't know how that doesn't dawn on you, but no matter how bad your government is treating you where you are, they're not going to treat you better here. They're not going to treat you better here. You're not gaining anything by moving to the United States. The United States ignores and neglects United States citizens. The United States is going to give you a generation of defrauding the government for free, living in an apartment for free. They're going to give you fucking kudos to get you in the door, but your children and your grandchildren are going to be treated like cattle, just like every other U.S. citizen. I don't know where this notion came from. I don't know where this notion came from that if you come, like, I don't know where this notion came from that if you come to the United States, you're gonna do better than the people born here because the people born here don't try hard enough or something like that. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you. They're giving you a bunch of free shit to get you in the door. They're giving you a bunch of free shit to get you in the door. Okay, they want to get you in the door. Okay, they're not gonna pay. They're not gonna pay for your children to become doctors like you. Okay, they're not. They're not. You know why they're not? You know why they're not gonna pay for your children to become a doctor like you, H-1B visa recipient? Because your children's gonna want to work for as much money as someone with a PhD should work for, because they're gonna have people born in the US bills and expenses. They're not going to have someone who got a bunch of kudos and free shit to get in the door so they'll work for less than a US citizen. They're not going to give you, I'm telling you now, I'm telling you H-1B visa recipients now, they're not going to pay for your children or your grandchildren to get a PhD. You want to know why? Because your children and your grandchildren are going to have people born in the US bills and expenses, and they're going to want to work for people born in the US money. Okay, your children and your grandchildren are going to want to be paid like someone born in the US who has someone who was born in the US expenses and bills. They're not going to want to work for someone on an H-1B visa's salary. Okay, so you coming here and undercutting how much people born here get paid is screwing your children and grandchildren over, because they're not even going to pay for your children and grandchildren to become a doctor to begin with, and you're not going to pay for your child or your grandchild to become a doctor either. So if you're not going to pay for your child or your grandchild to become a doctor, you're not getting one over on anyone by coming here and undercutting how much they pay a doctor here. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you. You're not doing yourself a favor by coming here and how much they're paying a doctor here. You want to know why? Because you're going to want your child or your grandchild to become a doctor. But guess what? Your child and your grandchild aren't an H-1B visa recipient. They're not. They're not an H-1B visa recipient. They're going to have people born in the United States bills and expenses. They're going to have people born in the United States bills and expenses. You want to know why? Because they're not getting the same handouts they gave you to get you in the door here to be a part of the fucking United States bullshit system fuckery. Okay, they're using you as what's called a scab. Okay, I know this because I'm a descendant of people that participated in the Battle of Blair Mountain and the Harlan County War. Okay, so I know about this shit. You're a scab. They're using you to undercut how much they're paying people. Okay, but what you don't realize is that once you're here, you're a part of the system. Unless you pay to move out of here. Are you going to pay to move in here and out of here? I don't think you're going to pay to move in and out of here no matter how much you make. I don't think you're going to pay to move your whole family in and out of here and then expect things to go well for your family, moving them in and out of countries. You can say that, but I don't think you're going to do that, and I don't think it would go well if you did that. So what's happening is they're giving you a bunch of free shit to get you in the door because you're a scab. Because if you come here and you do the work, they get to pay doctors less. And that's a big deal to them. So what you don't realize is that once you're in the door, you're fucking stuck here, unless you're going to finance your way out of here. So now that they've got you in the door, guess what? You've undercut how much a doctor gets paid in the United States. Now you're working for less than a doctor works for in the United States. Do you want to know why that's bad? Because if you have children and grandchildren, I assume you want them to get fucking paid, don't you? I assume you want your children and your grandchildren to get fucking paid. Being a doctor is a pretty good job, isn't it? But you're working for less than a doctor in the United States works for. What's wrong with you? So now you're working for less than a doctor in the United States works for because you came here to defraud the government on an H-1B visa. You're using fucking government scams and systems to take over apartment buildings and sublease them only to other H-1B visa recipients. You think you're having a good old time here, but guess what? Everyone that you bring here and set up with a place with your scam, guess what? You're all here only to undercut how much they're paying people that live here. So now you're here, you're having kids here, and you want your kids to make money, but you're undercutting how much they pay people here, and now your children aren't H-1B visa recipients, and the government money that you were getting is fucking dried up and withered away. It's dried up and withered away, all that free government money, because you're a generation or two in here now. Whoops! Whoops! And guess what? You undercut how much they paid people on the way in. You undercutted how much they paid everyone on the way in, and now you're stuck here. Now your children are stuck here. Now your grandchildren are stuck here. Whoops. And you thought you were getting one over on us. All that government money's withered away. All that free government money's withered away that you were using to take over apartment complexes and sublease them to other H-1B visa recipients. But all the money's gone. And you undercutted how much people are getting paid here. Now what are you gonna do? Now you're in my boat. Now you're in the same boat as me. Now you're as much value to the system as I am. But you're not the genetic specimen you said you were. You're not the genetic specimen or intellectual you said you were. On the way in, you were selling yourself up. Oh, you're going to take this place over. You're a big intellectual specimen. You're the next Elon Musk. You're jacked. You're yoked. But where's all the government money gone? Oh, no. The government money's not around anymore. And you undercut how much everyone gets paid. And you undercut how much a doctor gets paid. And you undercut how much someone who works in IT gets paid. And you undercut just about every field there is. Whoops. Whoops. That's what happens when you're a scab. That's what happens when you're a scab. You're only there to stop the bleeding. A scab's only there to stop the bleeding. When you pick the scab off, the bleeding still happens. You didn't stop the problem. You're just a scab. You're just there to stop the bleeding. I hate to break it to you, but a generation or two from now, you're going to be worth as little as me. You want to know why? Because they can't use you to undercut how much they pay a doctor anymore. They can't use you to undercut how much they pay a doctor anymore because, like it or not, you don't have generational wealth. You haven't accrued generational wealth. And you've only been used to undercut how much they paid people that became a doctor here. They're only using you to undercut how much they were paying people who were a doctor already here. Okay? Otherwise, you wouldn't have been trained by someone already working as a doctor. You wouldn't have been trained by someone that was already working here as a doctor that became a doctor here unless you were being brought in to undercut how much they pay a doctor. So, I hate to break it to you, but you haven't accrued generational wealth. You won't accrue generational wealth. You were only brought here to undercut how much they were paying someone who accomplished what you thought you accomplished that was born here. And the fact of the matter is that generations from now, all that government money is going to be gone. All that government money is going to be gone within a generation or two. All of the government handouts that you were given are going to be gone within a generation or two. I hate to break it to you. All of the shit that they gave you to bring you in here isn't going to be there a generation or two from now. It's not. It's not going to be here a generation or two from now. You're going to be treated the exact same way I was treated as someone born here, which means you're going to be given a lackluster education. Your children and your grandchildren are going to be given a lackluster education. They're not going to be paid to be a doctor. You're not going to pay for your children and your grandchildren to become a doctor living in the United States with the cost of everything in the United States. You're not going to pay for your children or your grandchildren to become a doctor because you're not going to accrue generational wealth off of a salary that is undercutting someone that was born here that became a doctor. You're not going to be able to afford to pay for your children and your grandchildren to become doctors. They're going to get a lackluster education in the United States because even education in the United States is a political football game. They're not going to treat your children and your grandchildren the same way they treated you to get you in the door, to get you to move to the United States. They're not going to do it. It doesn't matter what you say. They're not going to treat your children and your grandchildren the way they treated you to get you in the door here. It's not going to happen. They will not treat your children and your grandchildren the way they treated you to get you to move here. It's not going to happen. Within one generation, they're going to be exempt from the special privileges you were given to get you in the door here. That's reality. They're not going to treat your children and your grandchildren the way they treated you to get you in the door here. That's reality. They're not going to have access to the same services you had access to. They just won't. They just won't. It doesn't matter how much of your family lives overseas. It doesn't matter how many generations you try to defraud the government. You're going to end up with descendants that try to live as normal U.S. citizens, and they're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I'm subjected to. Like it or not, the writing is on the wall. Every single person that you bring in here, you are risking your future generations of your family being subjected to the same bullshit that I'm subjected to as someone born here. You are inflicting suffering on your own family, and you think you're doing it to profit. You're inflicting suffering on future generations of your own family by bringing them here because they're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I'm subjected to, living under a system that's being defrauded by people like you. Every single one of your family members that ends up just being a regular U.S. citizen, that is someone that you have subjected to misfortune and suffering under the system that you thought you were manipulating. Every single one of your family members that you bring here to defraud the government is at risk of living under the same system that I'm living under. It only takes one generation for them to become an ordinary U.S. citizen. So every single generation of your family that lives here, you are risking subjecting them to the same misfortunes and the same suffering that I face as someone born in the United States. You are not doing yourself a service by coming here to defraud the government. You are subjecting future generations of your family to suffering under the same system that I am suffering under, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, all of your family is not going to move back to where you came from. All of your family's not going to move back to where you came from. You're not going to be able to perpetually move people into this country. There's going to come a time where some of your family becomes ordinary U.S. citizens subjected to the same bullshit that every person born in this country is subjected to. And like it or not, you are not making a United States that future generations of your family can prosper in. You are not making a United States that future generations of your family will prosper in as ordinary United States citizens. I don't care how smart you think your family is. I don't care how strong you think your family is. Your family's gonna end up in handcuffs. They're gonna end up in the United States prison and jail system. They're gonna end up working for minimum wage. They're gonna end up homeless. They're gonna end up drug addicts. They're gonna end up prostitutes. That's what's gonna happen to your family. They're gonna be subjected to the exact same bullshit we're all subjected to as ordinary United States citizens. And you have to come to grips with the fact that you willingly brought your family into this system knowing that it's going to erase your cultural identity, it's going to erase all of your customs and traditions, it's going to erase the way your family looks, it's going to make your family fat, it's going to give your family cancer, they're not going to be able to afford health care. That's what you're doing to your family. That's what you're doing to your family. Every generation that your family lives here, they are at risk of becoming an ordinary U.S. citizen subject to the same bullshit I was subjected to. A lackluster education, not being paid anything. You're going to be subjected to all of the bullshit that I was subjected to. That's the reality of bringing your family here. That's the reality of bringing your family here. That's the reality of bringing your family here. Like it or not, it only takes one generation for your family to become ordinary U.S. citizens subject to the same bullshit that I was subjected to. And you're not making this a better place. You're not making this country a better place for the average person. You're not. You're not making this country a better place for someone that just has a high school diploma. You're not making this a better place for someone that has to apply for entry-level jobs. You're simply not. You're simply not making this a better place for someone that has to apply to entry-level jobs. You aren't. That's the reality of it. The reality of it is you're not going to be H-1B visa recipients forever, and you're subjecting your family to the same bullshit that all of us ordinary U.S. citizens are subjected to by being here. And you're not making this country a better place for ordinary people. You're not making this country a better place for people that were born in the United States. You're not making this country a better place for people that have to apply to entry-level jobs. And that's what your family's going to be subjected to. Your family's going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I am. And that's the beginning and end of it. That's the beginning and end of it, and that's the reality of it. The reality of it is that you're living on borrowed time. You thought that you were in fairy tale land. You thought that you were in fairy tale land where all you have to do is fill out the right application for a government program, and then all of your financial woes and worries are solved. But that's not the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that you have made things worse for the people that were born here. Unless you get out of here within a generation or two, which isn't going to happen. You're not going to get out of here within a generation or two. That's just not going to happen. Unless you get out of here within a generation or two and go back to where you came from, you're going to be subjected, or somewhere else, it doesn't have to be where you came from, but you're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I am. And it's not going to go well for you. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. You're going to be subjected to the same bullshit that I've been subjected to, and you're not going to like it. This isn't some fairy tale life. This isn't some fairy tale land. This place sucks. They treat people like garbage here. There's not a lot of opportunity here. And the police will ruin your life over another criminal's crimes and cap your earning potential, and then no one will give a shit. And that's what your family's going to be subjected to. That's what your family's going to be subjected to. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you, but your family isn't exempt from the same bullshit that we are just by coming here for one generation on an H-1B visa. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you. I know this is bad news for you. I know this is bad news for you, but you haven't been given some golden ticket. You haven't been given some golden ticket by being allowed to defraud a Western nation. You haven't been given some golden ticket. See, the fact of the matter is that people complain about the quality of life in the Western world that you move to because things fucking suck here. Things fucking suck here, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this is better in comparison to where you came from. We're not making up that things fucking suck here, okay? None of us in the Western world were lying about things sucking in the Western world, and you're going to find that out very quickly if you haven't already. If you haven't already, you're going to find out very quickly that we weren't just mass hallucinating how bad everything is in the Western world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was worse where you came from. We didn't fabricate that everything fucking sucks in the Western world. I hate to break it to you. I know that may disturb you. I know that news may disturb you. I know that news may disturb you, but we didn't all just mass hallucinate that things were bad in the Western world. It doesn't matter if it was worse where you came from. If you find this better in comparison, you're going to find out how much not better this is in comparison within a generation or two.